got into this whole thing about, just speaking of racism, with Tim Walz as the pick. It was going to be a white guy. She had to pick a white guy because she needs to get the votes. So the thing about it was the other pick that a lot of like more conservative or kind of people wanted was this guy named Shapiro from Pennsylvania, and he's a popular governor there. But Shapiro, part of it, he's very pro-Israel, which has kind of been a problem for Biden. And so I know Harris wants to separate herself from that. But Shapiro is also against public school. He doesn't like public schools. He wants to get rid of them. He wants to just go to like charter schools or private schools. So all these teachers organizations, education organizations across the country, hundreds of them, took a big risk. And as soon as Harris was named or was endorsed by Biden, they wrote her a letter basically saying, don't pick Shapiro. Because he wants to get rid of public schools. He's very conservative on public school. And that's part of the reason why she didn't pick him and she went with Walz, who is a former school teacher, who's very much for public schools and funding public schools. So, it's a good choice. But
you don't want national teachers unions coming out against you.
Not as a Democrat. No. And then, but what happened is a lot of these more conservative, kind of even right-wing guys have spun this as, well, she didn't pick him because he's Jewish, and the Democrats are all anti-Semitic. Which is weird because her husband's Jewish, so it's like, I don't think that was an issue, but they want to spin it that way. And here is Medhi Hassan on CNN, and basically smacking down this idea. In a way that only he can, because he's just that good. So we're going to watch Medhi Hassan do this, because this was just amazing to me when I saw this.
Look at the Republican Party record. Vance is saying this is anti-Semitic. The guy is running alongside Donald Trump, the most openly anti-Semitic presidential candidate we've seen in our lifetimes. This is a guy who hosted a Holocaust denier for dinner at his home less than 2 years ago, who says American Jews are disloyal to Israel, constantly says that, who famously praised Nazis, saying Jews will not replace us as very fine people, who last week was on a radio show where he agreed with the host calling Doug Emhoff a crappy Jew. Today he called Adam Schiff Shifty Schiff. So Republicans really need to sit this one out. I mean, Vance himself has defended Marjorie Taylor Greene, she of Jewish space lasers fame. So the idea that they want to make this an issue, good luck to them.
Brian, what is your reaction to that? Because obviously Trump has come back to say that he is not anti-Semitic, that this is something, and that he'll point to his daughter, obviously his son-in-law as well, but one example of his love for them. What's your reaction to how this is playing politically?
Listen, I think the Republicans have sort of stepped back and watched the Democrats eat each other up with, what did the Democrats call him? Genocide Josh. That wasn't a Republican term that came up. That was a Democratic term. A Democrat came up with that term to describe Josh Shapiro, a Jewish Democratic governor. So we're watching this debate take place. We're seeing them rip each other apart based on, whether you can be pro-Israel or anti-Palestine or however the situation works out. But it's not the Republicans that are sort of pushing that. Genocide Josh came from the Democratic Party, from a Democrat operative, to try to slander, to try to slur Josh so he would be sort of disqualified of Kamala Harris. That wasn't a Republican thing. That's where the Democratic Party is now. You can look at the colleges, campuses, where it was primarily Democratic young activists that were very much anti-Israel. They were saying, we don't care that you were attacked. Well, I was just saying, you don't care that you were attacked. You don't care that there's still American hostages in Israel that are being held against their will. And they were protesting. This is coming from within the Democratic Party. So to try to play it off as a Republican thing is just disingenuous.
You don't think there was a Holocaust denier in Donald Trump's home less than 2 years ago?
Sure, there absolutely was, and that person's an idiot. I'll be the first to tell you that. But what we're talking about right now,
Donald Trump's an idiot.
No, the person who's this Holocaust denier, he's an idiot.
That's not what I asked. Why was he in Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago?
He invites a lot of non-traditional media folks, people. That guy owns a podcast, or he does a podcast, is my understanding.
It was Kanye and Fuentes, both Holocaust deniers.
Like I said, he goes to a lot of non-traditional media podcasts and has these conversations. I wouldn't do it, but that's what the campaign has made the decision. It's clearly worked. Remember, we got to the first debate with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Joe Biden dropped out. He demanded the debate because he was behind, because of these Holocaust deniers, all these things. Language wasn't working. He needed a Hail Mary, and the Hail Mary failed. So all these things that are...
So I just wanted to get that. So, real quick, he's pointing out, look, Trump, during the Charlottesville thing, when a woman was killed by a bunch of guys running around chanting, Jews will not replace us, said they were very fine people. Trump had Kanye West and Nick Fuentes, both Holocaust deniers. Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm still here. Can you hear me, Lacey? Are you there? Can you hear me?
You froze for me.
Oh, I don't know. You were fine here. So, and you just went off. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
You froze. You froze.
Okay, it's fine on my end. Anyway, I'll go ahead. But he had so Nick Fuentes and Kanye, both Holocaust deniers. Nick Fuentes is a white nationalist, kind of neo-Nazi. Trump says, a lot of anti-Semitic things. They've got a lot of anti-Semitism in the Republican side. Marjorie Taylor Greene said a lot of anti-Semitic stuff. Just for examples, right? And this guy counters with, well, Josh Shapiro, she didn't pick him because he supports Israel. And when they had the protest on the college campuses in Pennsylvania, where he's the governor, he clamped down on that and sent police. And it was mostly Democrats. Well, he was mostly liberals, students, right? And what were they protesting? He's like, they were protesting Israel. No, they were protesting the genocide of the Palestinian people. And it's not just them saying it's a genocide. That's the United Nations. That's the World Court calling it a genocide. So the problem is he wants to conflate this, and Medhi Hassan kind of caught him on it, where he wants to conflate, if you're not supportive of Israel, you're anti-Semitic. When in fact, most American Jews support Israel but don't support what they're doing. So are most American Jews anti-Semitic? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Well, they're trying to simplify an issue that's a lot more complex with a lot more layers to it, really. They're trying to really just very easily be able to, spin it their direction by overly simplifying it.
Yeah, but that's what he's saying. He's saying because she didn't pick him, she must be an anti-Semite because he supports Israel and she doesn't support Israel, and maybe she doesn't like him because he's a Jew, which is a stretch, right? She didn't pick him doesn't mean it's because he's Jewish. In fact, I told you why she didn't pick him. It was because of the letter from the teachers, nonprofits, and unions.
Right, the teacher unions.
That was probably the main reason that killed it for him. But the thing about it is he's using it. It's kind of a stretch. The fact that she didn't pick him means she's anti-Semitic or she's against Israel or against Jews. When she's not talking about embargoing Israel or doing anything so far, right? So there's no indication she's anti-Israel in any way here. But Medhi Hassan does something really smart. Instead of trying to get into the weeds and point out how flaky that argument is, he just goes into, well, wait a sec. Okay, so that indicates that she's an anti-Semite. So Trump having Holocaust deniers at his house for dinner. Well, no, that's just, he meets with lots of different people and stuff, and they're an idiot. Oh, Trump's an idiot? Oh, no, the Holocaust deniers are idiots. Oh, but Trump's not an idiot for having them at his place, even though he knew they were Holocaust deniers. And see, then he has
all the ways.
Right, then he has to dance around and go into other shit. Well, and then Biden dropped out. And he just starts babbling because he realizes he's caught. If he's calling Harris an anti-Semite because she didn't pick Shapiro, then Trump is definitely an anti-Semite. Trump's a neo-Nazi because he's hanging out with neo-Nazis.
Right.
So it's a simple trap to just fall right into, and all Medhi Hassan had to do was ask him a question.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's just amazing. But like I said, they've got nothing. They've got fucking nothing. They're just grasping at straws.
I mean, they're just throwing anything to see if they can make it stick, really.
Anything. And none of it's working. Because a lot of it's obvious lies, or it's so convoluted or bizarre that nobody really grasps it. Or it's something like the transgender thing, which most people don't really care about. They've tried that. They tried the transgender thing. They ran on it back in 2022. It didn't work. I mean, nobody cared. They're like 0.5% or 1% of the population. Most people don't even know a transgender person. So the Democrats are trying to turn us all transgender. It's like, where? Where is this happening? Where are you getting this shit from? It's just crazy shit. Yeah, they got nothing. They got nothing. It's funny to watch them spin, though. I mean, simple question. So Trump had Holocaust deniers, so that makes him an anti-Semite? Well, no. Well, by your logic.
But it's like you can have it all the ways.
Numbnuts. Oh, man. It just cracks me up.